It is just 7 PM.
Okay, I'm gonna call the planning board meeting for December 19th, 2018 to order at 7 PM. Helen's not here tonight. So we have Anthony Renzi, Jeff Sheldon, Ron Savazio, Lisa Butler. Johnson. I didn't know which one you were gonna go by. Okay, she's the new member, and welcome her to the board. And I'm here, Joe Carey, chair, and solicitor Jennifer Siciliano. Planner Jennifer Siciliano. Joanna Achilles for assistant solicitor. Mike Carpenter and Helen Hardy are excused. Okay, I'll accept the motion at this time for approval of minutes for December 5th.
So moved.
Second by Jeff, moved by Ron. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Correspondence this evening?
No.
Anything from the board? Okay, moving on to the elections of officers. I would like to just say that I did speak to Helen, and she is interested in retaining the secretary's position. So I'll make a motion that we have appoint Helen as the secretary. Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so Helen is secretary again this year. All right, do I have a motion for chair?
Make a motion, Ron Savazio as chair.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Jeff. Ron, do you accept this?
Yeah.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. Congratulations. Do I have a motion for vice chair?
I'll make a motion that Joe be vice chair because I'm going to need his expertise, and I'm going to probably let him run a couple of hearings and stuff so I get my feet. So that's a motion.
Take a
Make a
second.
motion.
I made a motion.
A second. You second?
Second by Jeff. All right, I was really not considering any office this year.
Well, it's up to you. I mean,
I don't know if anybody else is interested.
you and Mike and Helen are the only people with experience. I mean, do it a couple of months and then we'll dump it on somebody else.
Well, that's all right, vice chair, chairing half the meetings. All right, I'll accept it. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. All right, Ron, here's your gavel.
All right, the gavel's fine. No, stay there, stay there.
All
All right.
I have time to do.
I'd like to add
We'll see what we go.
item to the agenda, and that's organizational information from the chair. Can I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. You're gonna have to bear with me, because one, I can't read my own writing, and I threw things in here all day. I'm gonna run the meetings by Roberts, and at the next meeting, I'd like the solicitor to give a 5-minute overview, 4-minute overview of Roberts. One, I won't be voting unless there's a tie. And I will open and close the meetings. I'll try to stay out of discussions. And if there is a tie, a 3-3 tie that I have to break, I'd like the minority, the 3, always to write a letter to the council why they so strongly disagreed with the 4-3 vote. If you don't do that, that's fine, but I'm giving you the opportunity versus people have conversation privately versus a letter go to the council, be copied to the board, and everybody knows where they stand. The one thing of Roberts, anytime I'm doing anything anybody doesn't like, all you have to do is say point of order, I will stop. I will look at the solicitor, the parliamentarian for advice, and we'll move on from there, at what I'm doing or not. Everyone must be recognized by the chair. And I'd like this board to move from conversations. And I looked at the meetings, and we have great conversations, but no follow-through. So I'd like to move from conversations to informed, educated discussions, and move whatever, or not move, forward to the council, whatever that discussion is about. This board acts as, we advise the council on zoning, we advise the zoning board, we do major and minor subdivisions, we act truthfully as the Conservation Commission. If you're in Massachusetts, if you're doing a subdivision, you have to go to conservation first. So in a lot of our discussions, we're standing as the conservation board in town. So in that regard, I'd like the attorney to give us a quick, on paper, overview of DEM responsibilities and regulations concerning wetlands. We act as a finance committee, and we don't do the job of finance committee well. When we send something forward to the council regarding finance, they should have all the options in front of them necessary. So if we're buying a fire truck, highway truck, we should be sending forward different possibilities of that fire truck. We should be sending forward whether it's possible to lease that fire truck. And in the end, they have all the information and they make their decision. In regards to educated discussions, I can't appoint anybody, but I'm going to ask for volunteers. So in that regard, Mr. Sheldon, I'm going to ask you to volunteer what you did. We've had conversations about municipal court, and I've already asked Jeff to do this, but I'd like to know who has it, how they do it, the cost, and did Foster ever have a municipal court? What I'd like to happen when these things happen, are produced by an individual or a committee, that information go to the planner, and that she distribute it in the packet. That way, you have it in the packet, you've read the information, you are basically educated about it, and then we can have a discussion. At that time, people can say, I object to this and I want to do my own research, we'll put it back on the agenda, try to finalize and get it to the council. Mr. Renzi, if anybody doesn't want to volunteer, I'll try. I'd like to know, you brought up a couple times buying property, the town buying properties, and if you can develop any money on that, agencies that would help us do that, how it's done, blah, blah, blah. That's one. You've brought up Route 6 and Cucumber Hill Road. Joe, you've already volunteered to develop the accident reports, but I'd like the accident reports for Route 6, the total of Route 6 over 10 years, and like we did on 102. Just ask the chief to do it, and they'll get it back to you.
I
Yes.
have the accident reports, I'll send them to you.
There you go. All right, so actually, since Mr. Renzi's dealing it, why don't you give them to him, and then he can add it to his packet. The other thing you brought up is speed limit on Route 6.
I'll make it part of that whole thing.
Okay, but we have to know whether it's legal approval to regulate speed, the town, on the state, is 6 a federal highway still?
State,
The state highway, isn't it?
state.
State highway.
Okay, so anyway, that's something there. And you also talked numerous times about dual zoning, and I'd like to have some information in writing about your proposal in that regard. Mr. Carpenter, I'll get to him, but he's always told us about watts, kilowatts, acreage produces kilowatts, blah, 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 so I'm gonna ask him to put that formula in paper. And I'm gonna give this to the planner then. I'd like you to contact the highway director for an early assessment of what he's looking for in capital expenditures. And if any of those, I'd like him to come forward with 2 cost analyses, one in straight buy, 2 in leasing. That's Mike. And I'll get to him on his, Joe, I'd like, now I know you work, Joe, but you can do this after work. See, I'm smarter than I look. I'd like you to contact either the fire chiefs or the engineering board, the head of the engineering board, to figure out what they're gonna ask for in capital and possible cost, alternative to what they're asking for, and a leasing of that item, whatever.
So just to let you know, I don't mean to stop,
No.
but we are planning, I've told all the departments to get the capital improvement plan request to me by the end of December.
Okay, so now you have to
They're
go,
already
but now you have to go back to them and ask them for an alternative
to
So-
buying.
suggestion and/or leasing of that product. So Joe, you're off the hook.
Well, I know that, our second meeting in January is gonna be kept,
Right.
so that, I'm sure they're working on it.
Well, we haven't asked them for leasing prior, so I'd like to get some.
I think it was brought up last year at the meeting, so they were.
And the other alternative is to have to shut them
Okay, the planner, I'd like you to, from now on, when we send out the green cards to the abutters, okay,
Yes.
I'd like dual cards. And I'd like you to have a copy at the meeting of the hearing, because when somebody stands up and says their name, I want to see, make sure that they are an abutter. And the only way we'll know that at that time is if the card's been sent to them. And you should have a duplicate.
Okay.
Okay.
I think they send it to me I can get them to send it to me.
All right,
anyway.
that's fine, but just so I want them at the meeting, okay? Because we've had people stand up and say they're a butter and they live a half mile away, so, where am I? Oh, I'd like to hunt down the maps that Helen says we know.
That we have.
And I know that we have them. That's why I keep asking for them. So maybe you could get with the clerk and
Yes,
find these maps. They gotta be in that.
probably upstairs.
Yeah.
or-
Mrs. Johnston, I'd like you to volunteer to contact Rick Grant. They can get the phone number from Heidi. Oh, you have it? Well, anybody. And he used to know companies or consultants that worked with businesses to locate into communities and see if there are still such organizations. You're already working with one, but I'd like some alternative names.
Sure.
Joe, what did I get? I'm gonna work on new zoning, business and licensing permits, and I'm also gonna bring forward to the board that, if we agree, to send to the council that all requests for licenses or businesses come before planning first. So that there's some, I'm gonna stop. I'd expect that all these reports be in writing, be given to the planner. When they're complete, they'll be dispersed. That item will be on the agenda, and we'll have a list of future agenda items that we'll be able to move up for action and discussion.
Single space or double space?
Double space, because I need my glasses, you know. Anything else? I'm done.
Oh,
Anything, yeah, Joe?
I just wanted to speak on the rules of order.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with Roberts. I think procedurally, we need to vote on them as a board. If we change it, I think, don't we have to vote
Yes.
on our rules?
I believe they do.
Okay,
Just a point of order.
that's fine. Point of order. That's what's supposed to happen. May I have a motion?
We cannot vote on it, that's not on the
We
agenda.
can't vote
Okay,
on it.
so that'll be on the agenda for next time,
Future
please.
agenda.
All right? Right now, tonight, we'll continue to operate by the make-believe rules.
Democratic.
Yeah, the make-believe rules. All right, next, thanks, Joe.
Well, here.
Annual calendar, you have it in your packet
Yes.
someplace.
All right.
Just the dates, but if
Okay.
anybody has a birthday or a wedding or something on one of those dates, get it to the planner so she can,
Dismisses.
yeah. Oh, the other thing is I have these for everyone. If you have a color you'd like. One for the planner, none for the lawyer. She has her own stuff. You can trade after the meeting if you don't like the color.
I'll take that, right?
You'll take what?
I'll take it.
Maybe a minute. Now, the calendar, Mark,
Joe?
the calendar we were discussing, Ron, or?
Yeah.
I know normally in the summer, we only have one meeting in July. July 3rd, obviously, is the day before the 4th, so I don't know.
Yeah,
We're gonna have a meeting then, but I mean, if there was something that was important, we could always have a meeting if we had to. And usually the first meeting in August, usually we have a summer schedule of one meeting a month, but that's up to the board. Yeah, like I said, if there's a lot of business, we can always have a meeting. Doesn't stop us from having it. And I don't know what you think about January 2nd being the day after New Year's, if that's gonna be a problem.
Oh, we gotta punish people.
Is that?
All right,
So
so,
up to you guys.
so Joe, make a motion.
Because we are not having a zoning board meeting in January, so you could.
Joe, could you make a motion to remove those 3 days?
Okay, I make a motion that we add to the schedule that we do not have a meeting on January 2nd, July 3rd, and August 7th.
Second.
Discussion. Any other dates people want removed? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The vote is 4-0-0. Annual comprehensive plan update.
It's continuing. I should be done soon. And I'm gonna start getting the letter ready to submit to the state, so I can just send it.
Will we be reviewing that before it's sent to the state?
Do you want to review it before it's sent to the state?
I don't know if we had to vote on it before.
Yeah, we should, one more time.
One more time.
That's what, yeah, one more time. And we should.
Well, we can read through it,
Yeah.
on our own.
And we should do that. Why don't you disperse it to the committee, let everybody read it. We'll put it on the agenda. Any problems, then we'll discuss it that night.
Sounds good.
We're flying. Oh, one last thing, back to the minutes. I'd like the minutes to be on one page, back in front, with highlighted
Yeah.
items that are on, when we get the minutes, I want to be able to put them in this folder and very easily flip through and see the topics that were discussed, okay? The other,
So
Yes.
kind of like a bullet point in the
yes, so
beginning.
you're gonna tell the clerk in the office,
Mhm.
that's what I'd like on the minutes, bullet pointed topics on top of the minutes,
Okay.
on one page. Somehow we gotta get these minutes on one page. Oh, okay, anything else on that? Now, zoning, advisory opinion, proposed medical marijuana ordinance. Discussion.
Well, we go in with what we proposed.
What's in your packet with the changes?
What we came up with.
Yeah.
It's, I guess, whatever we're gonna do here, I would think in another year, it's all gonna change. The governor kind of made a statement the other day, everybody likes it, it's fun, so we should legalize it.
Is that what you?
That isn't what she said. She said we need money.
Well, we should tax them on it, that's pretty much what she said. So with our neighbors all being legalized, I'm sure it's gonna come down the pike, and that would change everything, all these ordinances, wouldn't it, if marijuana was legalized?
It wouldn't necessarily change it, you'd have to add, because medical marijuana will remain its own kind of business and its own unit, and then you'd have to make a new ordinance for recreational.
And we would have to make an ordinance if we would want a pot store
Mm-hmm,
enforced. We
Right.
would allow one.
yes.
Having said that,
I guess we accept what we came up with.
all right, do I have a motion to accept it as written?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Lisa, you reviewed it?
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? 4-0. Oh, and this heading, establishing planning subdivisions, I pretty much just done by asking for volunteers. And later on, as some of these things become more complicated, we'll form a subdivision. Anthony's got a lot on his plate, maybe Joe will help him or somebody else as they're free. Okay, future agenda items for the planner, please write these down, anybody?
Yes.
So you have, I'll come in and see you with all the things I just handed out. So those will be future agenda items. And else, what else? Anybody? Joe?
The 5-year road plan, I'd like to see that come before us early next year sometime. And we haven't been doing that with the DPW, new DPW director. I'd like to see, where we're getting, that way when we get capital, we have a better idea of our paving project.
You want to do that as part of the capital project, or you want to do it after?
I think after, I don't
Okay.
think he had enough time to
All
prepare.
right, let's do, let's put it on for first meeting in March, please. Anybody else, future agenda items? Hearing none. May I have a motion to adjourn?
One second. Ron.
Yes, sir.
On the future agenda items, so the next meeting, what are we discussing?
Oh,
Well, what happened to the plan that was coming forward to you? You showed me in your office.
yeah, it's coming on the 16th.
Okay. So we should have, next meeting should be comprehensive plan, what's in your office, the subdivision, code 2,
The capital improvement plan.
capital improvement.
Okay.
And then we have all these things I just handed out. Jeff may be ready to come on the agenda next meeting.
We had, on a copy of an agenda that you gave me,
Yes,
We had,
Mom.
municipal court and using the rest of town.
Right, well, what I'd like to do is with your municipal court, I'd like to give every time to read this. Unless you want to discuss it, what I'm going to try and do is stop having conversations and have everybody read your information and add to it. But if you'd like to.
There's
talk-
some more information I can get if I wait.
Okay. But would you like to do anything now? Just add it to the agenda. You can't vote on it, but we can
Will this
discuss it.
show up on the agenda at some, is it gonna show up on next week's, next meeting's?
As soon as you get the information, then it will show up.
Okay, well, I've given you this, I'll get the other information, that comes from the police chief, so as soon as I talk to him, I'll send it to her. And depending on what date that is, then we'll schedule it.
So hopefully we'll get that on the next agenda. Right?
Okay.
Anything else, future agenda items? Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Motion to adjourn.
May I have a second? See, I'm operating sort of on a rocket's one myself. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you.
Now everybody can have cookies.
There you go, food fast from the.
Have a Merry Christmas, Mr. Allen.